YouTube channel, Stitch Nat Lit Chat. My name is Natalie. I am a cross stitcher, a knitter, a little bit of crocheter, a reader, and a teacher. Over the past few weeks, I've taken a little bit of a break from Flosstube, and I'll go into that a little bit. My original goal was to have a whip parade out in the middle of my travel. Unfortunately, that was not able to happen, and I'll go into that a little bit in a minute. Today we are going to be doing a whip parade, and I'm going to go through some of my projects. Typically, I link all my projects below, but I have so many of them that I might not have all of them in the description down below my video. So, since I've last seen you, a few things have happened. Originally, I had been planning to film a whip parade about a month ago. And what happened was we were all set up, and I was planning to film and edit the day before I left for my trip. And unfortunately, we lost power. We lost power for the whole 24 hours before my trip. It was kind of a nightmare getting everything together. We had to get coolers and stuff for everything in the fridge. And then I had to get stuff taken care of for my dog because I was leaving my dog with my roommate and there was no power and just a bunch of things were going on. So I didn't get it filmed. I then went to Europe. So my sister and I went to Amsterdam. Had a great time, went to the Van Gogh Museum. I'm going to be inputting some images and some videos at the end of this episode. So if you check it out, you'll see a little bit of what we were up to. So we went to Amsterdam. We met up in Amsterdam after some travel hiccups. And then we went from Amsterdam to Berlin. And in Berlin, we got to see a lot as well. We went to a few different museums. We went and got chocolate and all that good stuff. I made a custom chocolate bar, which was one of my goals at Rittersport. And then we went from Berlin to Hamburg. In Hamburg, it was very cute. We had a really interesting little place, an Airbnb, where we had like half of the apartment and then the other half was for the tenant who lived there. And it was pretty relaxed. There wasn't too many hiccups with that, which was good. And the second night that we were there, we went to the Taylor Swift concert, the Eras Tour. We went to Hamburg night 2. And we had a really great time. We got to see a lot of fun stuff, including Paramore was the opener. And as somebody who did go through their middle school emo phase, I listened to a lot of Paramore, so that was very exciting for me. I will say that Hayley Williams' vocals live are insane. After Hamburg, we came home. And as we were on our way home to my place in Rockford, Illinois, my sister had this thought of what would it be like if we just packed up and went to Michigan the next day to go see the family because we were about a 4-hour drive. And so she hadn't been there in the past 5 years, so we decided to go. And I was still thinking, all right, well, I can still have some time to film once we get back because we're going to get back a couple days before we need to leave again. And I'm thinking, great, I will film when we get back from Michigan. We go to Michigan, we see my grandma, we see my aunt and uncles, we see some cousins and all that kind of stuff. And then I wake up on Monday morning with COVID. Now, this is a problem for a couple reasons. One, we don't want to get anyone sick. And two, that weekend we were supposed to be going to a music festival. Now, tracing it back, we can kind of figure out that I was sick for a little while before that, and we believe that I was exposed at the Eras Tour. And so we came back to Illinois so that we could prevent other people from getting sick in Michigan. And we just came straight back to my place, and I holed up in a room and died for a few days. And then when I was better, we packed up the car and went down to the Hinterland Music Festival in Iowa. Now, the Hinterland Music Festival is a 3-day festival. It's mostly like indie rock bands, indie country a little bit. But this year they had some pretty famous acts, and it's part of the reasons we booked the tickets to go there. So they had Hozier and Noah Kahan and Lizzie McAlpine, Vampire Weekend, and most importantly, for me at least, Chappell Roan. Now, we booked these tickets back in February. I have been a fan of Chappell Roan for about 2 years. And so I was really excited when I saw her on this ticket. I was super excited to see her. I was like, this is going to be amazing. And from February to now, her popularity has exploded. And every festival she's gone to has become a little bit more chaotic because of that. It's not her fault. Mostly it's festival organizers' faults. And I'm really excited about the level of popularity that she's at. It's very exciting to see that she's becoming more mainstream and getting all of this attention because she truly, really does deserve it. She's an incredible artist. But it was a little bit disappointing because this festival was way oversold. And it's a small town in Iowa with not a lot of capacity in this venue. And we were all packed in there like sardines. It was 95 degrees. There was not enough access to water, and people were passing out all over the place and having different medical emergencies. And so there were a lot of issues with that. I recently did find a video that was talking about all of the issues with the festival. I'll try and link it in the description because I think it kind of goes over a lot of the concerns that people were having at that time. But overall, it was just crazy and chaotic. But we did survive, and we got to see the people we wanted to see, although I barely saw Chappell Roan. I was in, there was just too many people around me I couldn't see. But I could see some screens and things like that. And her vocals are incredible, and it was still fun to be in the crowd. So we then came home from there. My sister left with my brother and his girlfriend and her sister, who we met at the festival. And they went back to California, and I came back to Illinois. And the next day I had off, and I did a little bit of grocery shopping. And then the day after that, I started my new job. So I've been in teacher boot camp for about 1.5 weeks, I want to say. Yeah, 1.5 weeks. And it's been really helpful getting to know the school, getting to know all of this information. They do most of their professional development for the year during this basically 3-week period so that we can get prepared, working on prepping our classrooms, but also learning about policies and procedures for new staff and updated policies and procedures for older staff, and things like that. But I am very excited. My official title is the Academic Enrichment Interventionist, and I am excited to start with that role. I don't have my own students for the first couple of weeks. I will be visiting different classrooms, but then I will be able to start taking students for myself, just for small periods throughout the day for 3rd through 5th grade. So I think it's going to be really exciting. I get to teach a lot of student-centered and student interest types of material to help them challenge themselves to do better. And that's very exciting. I'm really happy about it. And a couple of things that I've done are just getting my classroom together and kind of starting to plot a little bit of what I want my class to look like. Part of that has been that we are given a stipend to fill our classroom. And unfortunately, there is quite a lot of space in my classroom. Now, that's both fortunate and unfortunate because it's nice to have such a big space just to do whatever we want in, but also it's just a lot of space to fill. We're in a historic building, the ceilings are very high, um, and so it makes my room quite echoey. I also have original heartwood floors from 1906. So they are not super level. And so I've been trying to kind of fill up my classroom with things like some rugs and getting things all over the walls and things like that to help dampen the noise and also make use of the space. I will maximum have 10 students at a time. And so the part where I need like my main students to be when we're doing things all together is pretty small. So I've been trying to set up like different group stations around the room so that when we break into smaller activities, there's places where students can go to work on those types of things. So that has meant that we have had quite a bit to do and quite a bit to buy to get that all together. I did create an Amazon wish list as well as a donors choose list that I will link in the description of this video. Do not feel pressured, but if you feel like you would like to and you wanted to buy something for a classroom, I would really appreciate it. It truly does take quite a bit of money to fill up a classroom that's empty. And so providing for that kind of stuff is out of my budget as a teacher. And so I have been getting quite a bit of help from other people. I got sent a few things. My mom has been sharing my Amazon wish list on Instagram, and people have sent me some great things, and it's been really, really helpful. And I'm really excited about how my classroom is looking and how it is going to be ready for back to school night next week. So I'm just really excited about it. I think it's going to be a good year. I really like all the staff that I work with and all the people I've met so far. And it's going to be a new and interesting challenge. So that's all the info that I've got going on right now. There's quite a bit of stuff that was just happening in my life for the past month, and that is why I have not had time to film a Flosstube and get the stuff out that I had been planning to. So today's Flosstube is going to be a little bit different than the other ones. I'm not just going to be going through like the projects that I'm working on and things like that. I'm going to go through all of my projects. I'll try and put up a picture as well as the name of the project when I post the video, so they'll be somewhere on the screen. But I can't promise that they'll be linked. It'll just depend on how much time I have, and it's possible that I'll post it and then eventually go and add to the description as well. So that is what's going on. This is in no particular order. I did not have time or the brain space to really order up any of these projects and get them into like, this is when I started this one and this is when I started that one. Nor do I remember when I started a lot of them. So I will be kind of showing a few different projects, and by a few I mean a giant little mountain of projects, and just going through what they are and what I'm doing with them. So this project, I can actually tell you when I started. I started it on Trans Day of Visibility this year. It is a moth by Bad Stitched. It was their Trans Day of Visibility freebie. I can't remember if it had a title. It might have been like Trans Moth. I will put it in the image, but it's very cute. The colors I'm using for it are Britten Needles, Let's Get Tipsy, and this is a color that you'll see quite a bit when it comes to like trans pride colors because it's got the pink and the blue. And I know that Dee from Dee's 20 has used it quite a bit in their Let's Make a Statement banners. or I've seen people just substitute it in as well. And then the next color I'm using is this peach, and it's from Threadworks, and its number is 01093. And then I've got a white from Forbidden Fibers called Crystal Bar. There should be a blue in here as well. Let me see. There it is. And I believe this is just a DMC, and I can't tell you which number because I didn't mark it, and it was just in a stash. So that's what I've got here. I won't go through all the flosses on all of my projects, but when I only have like a couple, I'll kind of say what they are. And they're all in this little mixtape pouch that says "Don't You Forget About Me." I like it a lot. It's really cute. The next one is in a bag from Evertote covered in Canadian flags with my Stitch North little zipper pull, because this is from a project that I bought at Stitch North. So the project is by the Artsy Housewife, and I'm doing it on Leo and Roxy fabric. I've gone over this one before in my previous videos, so you can find all of the pattern details there. But this is what it looks like. It's called Gorgeous, and this is where I am. I really like this pattern. I think it's very pretty. I really like the colors for the Leo and Roxy, the Roxy Floss Co. I get mixed up because Leo and Roxy was a yarn brand that I used to buy from. It's the same, one of the dyers for Leo and Roxy now has become Roxy Floss Co. And some of the Leo and Roxy flosses, or the Roxy flosses, still say Leo and Roxy on them. And so I get confused sometimes. So yes, the Roxy Floss Co. Threads, flosses, as well as this yellow fabric. And a Canada Maple Leaf stitch marker, or needle minder. I'm mixing up my terms today. I'm a little bit tired. So that's that project, and it's very fun for me to work on every once in a while. This is a project I have not worked on as much as I probably should. It is The Dark Queen of the Earth by Autumn Lane Stitchery. Yeah, Autumn Lane Stitchery. And this is where I'm at with it. I'm not super far. I ran into a few problems while starting this project, but the biggest was that the specialty flosses and the beads were on a huge back order, and so I didn't get them until kind of like 6 months into the project. And the specialty flosses are used quite a bit, so I wasn't able to really kind of move forward. But I do really like it. I think it's really pretty. I've seen the finished version. I've got it all downloaded. I dyed this green fabric myself, and I'm hoping to get a little bit more work done on this year, especially during spooky season, because I think she fits in quite well there. But I did eventually get all of the beads and the flosses and everything, so luckily all of that is now here. Okay, I'm actually going to start putting these on the ground because there's too many to just put next to me. All right, the next one I have is Rappaccini's Quaker. Fun fact, I did help name this pattern. And it is by Bendy Stitchy. And I'm doing it in the Call for Colors on this fabric. I believe it's called Alchemy. I can't remember who dyed it, and I don't have it written down anywhere. And it's coming along. I've been taking this one to stitch groups every once in a while and just putting in some different like borders and things like that, because that's somewhat mindless. There are a lot of French knots in this project. I am planning to replace those with white beads because I cannot be bothered to put that many French knots in. I don't mind French knots that much, but the number is certainly daunting in this pattern. And I was really impressed with Michelle when she was working on the model and adding in all of those like countless French knots. And I thought about it for a while and it just couldn't be me. The next one is a SAL that I am behind on. I've been working on the part 2 of it, and this is the MSL. It is by the Stitching Book Club. I've been working on it. I am behind because I left it at home while I was traveling, and then since I've been home, I've been working, so I haven't had a huge amount of stitch time. You may notice that this is not done in the right color. It is actually supposed to be done in this purple color here. And I had finished doing all of these checkers when I realized I'd done them in the wrong color. Like I had done both top and bottom. And that it was actually supposed to use that color for this part here, this purple. So I just decided to switch them because taking out all of those stitches seemed like a huge pain and I didn't want to. I'm doing these in Cosmo and this is on a Wabi Sabi fabric. And it's in a very cute bag from Gamma's. I have it somewhere. But it's gone from my mind for now. Oh, I do have it on here. Gamma's Treasures. And that was from Stitch North as well. I really like this bag. It's got a lot of space and pockets. This project is one I've actually been putting in a few stitches on recently because my classroom is bee themed. So I have a few different bee themed projects. So I thought it would be good to kind of work on those so that I can put them up in my classroom eventually. And this is the Bee Queen by Tiny Modernist. And so I've been putting in a little bit more work on this. I started this about a year and a few months ago on my birthday when I turned 26. So I'm just trying to get some stitching in on it and see if I can get it done sometime this school year to put on my walls. And I'm doing that all in DMC. And it's in this cute little Red Riding Hood bag. I believe this is from Little Boat 88, but I'm not sure on Etsy. The next one, this is from the Brass Butt in the bag, is a full coverage piece. I can't remember the full title of it, but I believe it's called something like Italian Riviera, and I can't remember the designer, but I am working on it here. It's a smaller, it's not as big as like a Haid. This was my first ever full coverage. I'm still very much like working on it. It's still got a while to go on there. But it is very pretty and I do really like it. I do get frustrated every once in a while though because I have to use Pattern Keeper with it and I'm really just terrible at keeping my Pattern Keeper device charged. And that's a me problem. That's not a design problem. So this project hasn't been touched in a minute, but I'm hoping to touch it a little bit more in October. And it is a little gnome town that's full of Halloween little gnome witches. So this is one of the rows on it. And this is from It's called Welcome Halloween. It's from Mercerie de la Gargouille. It looks like that. And there's a few different things in here. So there's these little signs, but there's the main pattern here is what I'm working on. And so there's 4 rows, like the one that I just showed. And so the plan is to work on that a little bit more this Halloween season and see how much of that I can get done. Next up, this is a temperature calendar that I have not really done any of the temperature calendar on. But I have started working on like the border. So it is a black work pattern. And I started this a little while ago. I'm not like married to what year this has to be for. It's just I have to finish the border first and then I'll decide which year once I finish the border, it'll probably be used for whichever is the next year starting to keep track of the temperatures. So I just need to finish that eventually. And then I also have to figure out if it's going to be a leap year or not because that'll determine how many days I put in because it's based off of stained glass windows and each of the paces of the stained glass windows is one of the days and you do that with one of the colors. And so I've kind of set up a different, like a temperature chart and everything so that I can keep track of that. And so that'll be something that I work on a little bit more, just getting that border done. What's also nice about going through these bags is you find things that you forgot were in them. And one of the things I forgot about is that I had the pattern Night Walks Down by the Blue Flower. So that's good because I have been wanting to do that one. Oh, the next one is one of my favorite patterns. This is from Stitch North 2023 that I got this. And the pattern is a sampler, and I am not a sampler person. But I did see this one, and I thought immediately I have to have that. There's a couple reasons for it. It's mostly because it's really weird. So this is the pattern. It's called the Be Beautiful Sampler. And there are these men with these weird pants. There are these squirrels with really strange tails. There's these weird little birds everywhere. And there's also bees, which I'm a huge fan of, as you may have been able to tell by the fact that my classroom will be bee-themed and that I have so many bee-themed things. I'm a big fan of yellows, and there's lots of yellows in bee projects. So that is the project that I'm working on there, and it's very cute. I really like it. And I would like to get some more done on it soon as I work on these bee projects. I'm also doing those in Roxy Flosstube, and I'm doing it on a Legacy Linen 37 count. Okay, next up we have my long dog. And this long dog is Castles in the Sky, Castles in the Air, Castles in the Sky. I'll write it down correctly. This is what it looks like. It's on a yellow fabric. It's appearing kind of green on here. I think it's because of this Snarge hoop being green, but it's much more of like a mustard yellow in person. And I'm using this teal sulky for it. And it's very pretty. I do really enjoy working on it. Again, it is one of those things where I need Pattern Keeper for, and I'm just not as good about keeping Pattern Keeper charged. It's just, so I long for the day that it would be available on Apple products, because you know what's always charged? My phone. And I'm good about keeping that charged as well. So it would be really nice if I could get it onto my iPhone. But c'est la vie. The next project is called Nevermore by Leela Studio. I'm also doing this in Roxy Flossco flosses. I like this one a lot. It's a conversion that hasn't totally been finished. The colors were converted, but the actual placement of the colors wasn't. So I've been kind of making some stuff up as I go, and also following a little bit of what was done by the designers and the sellers over at Evertote. And this is just a piece of floss that's I'm putting on hold here so that when I go over here I can use it. Parked. Yeah, and I just really like it. And I love working on it. And again, that'll be one that I'm working on a lot during the spookier seasons. And also kind of all year round, because the spooky seasons are all year, especially with the state of the world. So, and that's how I feel on that. But there have been a few bright spots lately. Speaking of bright spots, when we were in Germany is when we found out that Biden had decided to drop out of the race for president. I am a very political person. I think that it's important to talk about your political beliefs and share those things with people. And a lot of people say, keep those out of your craft and things like that. But crafting is political, and my ability to craft is based off of the political space that I live in as well. And so I will say that I'm very happy that Kamala is now running. Is she a perfect candidate? No. Is she everything that I would like her to be? No, but it is much better than what we had before. And I think that she's a little bit more open to speaking about the disagreements that her party or people who are more left than her have about what's going on in the world. And I know that her opponent will not speak with those people and will not work with them to try and create any type of compromise. And he will be just a really negative impact on our country. And I think it's important that while I do believe that things like freeing Palestine are super important, and I do think that it's important that we pressure Kamala to move on those ideas. I think it's important that we, as a party or as people who are liberal or leftist, kind of put our energy towards her, because the alternative is just so much worse and so much scarier, and it could do a lot of really lasting harm for our country, as he did the first time. I also really am a fan of her VP, so I'm excited to see Tim Walz. I didn't know much about him, but I think that as a teacher, and some of the policies that he's put forward to help with education and things like that are really important. And their opponent, who's running for candidate, recently stated that he would like to disband the Department of Education, and I think that that is super scary and dangerous. As somebody who is a teacher and works with children, I think that that would have a hugely harmful impact on our society, and I just really hope that that is something that we can avoid in the future, because I think that it's just not going to be good. And that's that on that. You can disagree with me, and that's fine. I have a lot of beliefs as to why I think that her opponent is just a terrible, bad person, and the biggest of which is that he is a convicted felon and should not be able to run for president. So that's all I have to say about that. I know that that was a weird time in the middle of my whip parade, but just with everything going on in the world it's important to remember that things are scary, but hopefully they are going to get a little bit better. Now, moving forward, the project here is from Alforst Embroidery. They have these beautiful flosses that they dye themselves, and they create these beautiful kits. This project is called it's something woods, murky woods. It's not enchanted woods. That's another one in the same series. Let's see. The Bewitched Swamp. So, I love working on this project whenever I do. It's so pretty with how it works up, and the flosses are just incredible. Like, they're just so gorgeous, and I just enjoy looking at them, even when they're a tangled mess, like right now. Again, it's a good spooky season one that I'll be working on as we turn into fall soon. Next up, this is a project that we've seen before. This is Move Forward in Love by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is where I'm at with it. I do really love working on this project. I wish I could have gotten a little bit more done during Pride Month, but I can't say I'm too sad because it means I get to work on it longer, and I do enjoy this project. I think it's really fun. I think it's really pretty, and I really enjoy the colors that I chose for it. So I am working on that. That's a project, again, that I've worked on before, that I've shown on the channel. So if you want more information, you can reference some of my older videos. Not that there are many to go back to. The next project I have here is Quakers in Italy by Tempting Tangles. And I'm doing this in mostly the called for colors, but there are a few colors in here that I replaced with overdyes. This is a project I started when I was in Italy in April. I think it's really pretty, and I did finish one of the pages. There's 6 pages, so I've got about 5 pages left. And it's just really pretty. I really enjoy working on it, and it's one I'll keep working on. I keep saying that about all these projects, but it's like I do like them, and that's why they're still here, and I haven't gotten rid of them. I just lost a threader for that project. Okay. Next project. This is my folio from Whiskey Glass Designs. I have 2 projects in here because it can hold 2 projects. The first is the Black Crow by Tiny Modernist. Both of these projects are actually Tiny Modernist. I haven't started the other one though, so I don't really count it as a whip. I've barely started this one, but it's a little travel project that I have. It's easy to take on the go, so I will take it around to different places as I go and get more work done on it. The next one is one that I haven't started yet, but I do have it all kitted and ready to start, and I'd like to start maybe in the next week or so. And it's The Mouse's Schoolhouse from Tiny Modernist. For obvious reasons, I would like to get that one done somewhat soon. So, those are those 2 projects. They're on scrap fabrics, so I don't really know what they are fabric-wise. The next project is an advent calendar called Snowflakes and Stars from last year. I have not finished it, but basically it would release a little snowflake or like some small snowflakes or some trees and things like that, every day, and I was doing really well on it, and then I got laid off from my job. And things changed. My work ethic changed as I slid into a little bit of a depression. So I will return to that when I feel up to it. It's a project that I was really enjoying, but unfortunately it was just hard to work on after everything that had happened with my job and everything, and kind of trying to figure out where my life was going. So, on a less depressing note, moving forward, we have my second full coverage project. This is by Gecko. It's from Gecko Rouge. It's a kit from Gecko Rouge. And so all the flosses are in this binder here, and it's called Bramer. And it looks like this. It's by Sue Gardner, and it looks like this. It's a Highland Coo. It's a Highland Coo. And therefore, I had to have it. Have I done a whole lot of work on it? No. But I can do more. I can do better than this in this little corner. I should be doing more on that. And I will do more on that. Because, again, I love this project. I love the final product, and I want it. I want to have it. I would like it to be in my possession now. But unfortunately, it's going to take a minute. So, again, a Highland Coo. Like, how could I not have that? Oh, I gotta put the flosses in. But it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay, next up, this is a project that wasn't mine, but has been gifted to me from my mother because she didn't really want to work on it anymore. She wasn't enjoying it. Not because it's not a good pattern, it's just not really her aesthetic. And that's the Hex Hotel by D's 20 Stitches and Uncanny Kari. So she had about this much done, and she gifted it to me. It's all done in sulkies. And DMC Diamant. And she wasn't really enjoying it, so I have now taken over this project. And again, for the spooky season, I shall be working on that. It's one of the ones that'll be a high priority because it's very cute. And I think I can knock it out pretty quickly. This one is also by D's 20 and Uncanny Kari. This is a project from their Spring Fling box from last year. And this is where I'm at on it. It is this monochromatic dragon called We Go On. I believe it's been released now, so to the general public, so people can access it. It was not released to everyone originally, so but you should be able to get it now, which is very exciting. Next up, from Modern Folk Embroidery. Okay, so I got laid off from my job, and then my mom decided that she was going to convince me to do something that I had promised that I wouldn't do, and that is start one of the Modern Folk Embroidery annual sales. This sale is massive, and it's so much stitching. It's gorgeous. It's pretty. I like it. I do. I just gave up on keeping up with it. I'm doing these in silks. I was gifted one of these for Christmas this year, and then the other one was a backup color from my mom's Sal because she's also doing it. And that's what it looks like so far. I'm doing it with these really fun colors on this really pretty purple fabric. I do really enjoy it. But again, it's just massive. It's huge. I don't know when it'll be done. I don't know if it'll be done. But the colors, this is one, and then the other is this one here. I believe this one's from Moe's Silk. And the other one, I believe, is Mrs. Sadis Silk. And my mom got me a hank of that for Christmas this year. And so I am using it in that project. Oh, gotta put the pattern in. Keep forgetting. I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 patterns left. So we're almost there. It's a lot of projects, but they make me happy. And I have them now, so I'll just keep working on them. This is Reflections of Ireland. This is one I've shown several times on my channel, by Ink Circles. I love this project. I love the green on the gold. I just really enjoy working on it, and it's one that I will continue to work on. Again, this is by Ink Circles. They have a lot of patterns that are like these reflections that I would like to do other ones for, especially for countries that I've been to, like Germany, and I believe there's one for Amsterdam. So I'd like to do those as well in the future. And this is on a Threadworks floss. It's really pretty. Next up, we have, I lied, there's now 7 projects left. This is a Mill Hill. I did my first Mill Hill this year. This is my second one, and that's where I'm at on it. We're no longer in the holiday spirit, so I have not been working on it much, but it is the Renaissance Santa. He's very cute. This is Florence Santa. So there's a line of different Renaissance Santas from Venice and Genoa, and this is the one from Florence. And I did stitch on him in Florence, so that was very exciting. Next up, another G's 20 Uncanny Carry partnership to create the toonies. So we have this here. I have like the head mostly done, and I'm just working down into the body. I pull this out every once in a while. It's only 3 colors, so it's pretty easy to work on. I'm also doing these in the Brin and Needle colors. And the pattern looks like this. And I had to do it specifically because of that little baby duck. Or loony. I don't know. I love him. It's very cute. So I had to do it. It called to me. And it's in my trash panda bag. So that's also important. This is from Shiva Designs, the bag. I also, my B1, my B sampler is also in a Shiva Designs bag with beads all over it. Next up, we have a piece from the Inglewood Imaginarium. This is from the Tea Time patterns. I'll put up a picture of it because I don't have a picture of it with me. And it's the dragon teapot. And you can kind of see how it's starting to come together there. And I have the Tea Time palette silks. So I am just working my way through those projects there. and I am excited to see how it turns out. We're kind of speeding through these at this point. The next project I can tell you pretty much nothing about. I will have to go look back on Pattern Keeper to tell you like what these are from, who they are designed by. But it's some bookmarks that I've been working on for a minute. They're like little full coverage bookmarks. And so I just need to continue on that one. And once it's finished, I can tell you who it's from. And it's just on white Ada. Very not super exciting. But I do like how they look. And they don't take too long to work up. I just haven't been working on them. The next one is also from Modern Folk Embroidery. It's called The Moonshine Cabin. And it's a partnership with Roxy Floss Co. And I got the kit from Roxy Floss Co. for this. So I got the fabric and the called for flosses. And I work on this during the holidays as well. It's very sweet. And then the last one I've got here is a SAL called the Under the Sea SAL from the Frosted Pumpkin. And I am here on that. So this is a project that I work on every once in a while. It requires a lot of color changing, so it's not the first one that comes to my hands when I'm thinking about what projects I want to work on. But I do really like it, and I like the style of Frosted Pumpkin. I think they're very sweet, very cute, very demure, if anyone knows what that means. And so that is the last project. It has some specialty flosses in it, and it's in a mermaid bag, which is very fun. I'm trying to find a tag on this bag to see if I can tell you who it's by. Creative Carol Designs. So, there it is. There's the tag. So, and it's covered in mermaids, which is very fun, because I like mermaids. Anyway, those are all of my current projects. I have some devices for a new start. I might actually start something today because I am super behind in a tarot swap. So I'm going to try and bust that out quickly. I also need to put together an ATC. I do think I have a little piece that I can just slap onto a card because this theme this time is like dealer's choice, kind of like I get to choose what it is on it. So if it's just something that I like, that's fine. I don't have to kind of do something within a theme. So that is pretty much everything that I have. Again, I will be linking my classroom list, my wish lists, and my Donors Choose list. Donors Choose is a site where you can choose to donate some money towards a classroom, and that will help fund things, supplies for my classroom and things like that. And there are a couple of sites out there. There's a movement called #ClearTheList, and different businesses like I believe Teeks, which is a shoe company, that will give you a gift card for buying stuff off of teachers' lists. I believe that Teeks, if you buy something like $25 worth of stuff for a classroom, they'll give you a $50 gift card, which is pretty nice. But there's a bunch of different other ones that are participating in that. And so if you so choose and would like to donate to my classroom, that would be super exciting. But yeah, the school year starts on the 28th for me, so I still have a little while to go getting stuff together, getting my plans ready. And I'm just very excited for what this new job will bring for me. It feels like a new beginning, which I've had a few of this year where I very unexpectedly lost my job in December. And so, kind of picking up and moving forward from there, and just kind of figuring out what I was going to do and what my future would look like was really daunting at that time. And it's really good that I was in therapy because that, I think, helped kind of stabilize me at that point. So I moved here in February and I now have this job starting. And it just feels good to kind of be back on my feet a little bit, and just kind of have a picture of what my life is going to look like, at least for the next year. I'm hoping that this will turn into a job that I have for a few years at least. But even if it doesn't, it'll give me valuable experience in the Rockford Public School District, which would be really helpful for future positions. So, all in all, I'm looking forward to the next year. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have for today. My family and everything is doing well, and so everything on that front has been pretty smooth, and it's just nice to be in a good place. So I am going to finish up here, and I'm going to go cuddle my dog, and I'm going to go kind of work on some Meet the Teacher materials, as well as editing this video. And then my roommate and I will go back to watching my favorite K-drama, Romance is a Bonus Book, on Netflix. And if I really get very ambitious, I'll do some reading. I'm in the middle of Mistborn book 2. So I'm enjoying that one as well. Anyway, have a good week, 2 weeks. I'll see you probably not next Friday, but the Friday afterwards, with a more traditional Flosstube video. And this is my reminder to you to keep moving forward one stitch at a time. Bye.